How you doing, everyone? Welcome back. Well, right now what we're going to discuss here is the potential of Kamala Harris winning the presidency as the sitting vice president, and whether or not she would be allowed to certify her own victory when it goes to Congress on January 6th of 2025. Will she be allowed to do that? Well, considering, every other vice president has certified election results, presided over a joint session of the House and Senate. I mean, if you want to go back 24 years, 2000, that election, Al Gore was the sitting vice president. He was also the Democratic Party nominee for the presidency of the United States. To this day, there is contention about who really won that election. Truthfully, and this is kind of off topic a little bit, had Al Gore just won his own home state of Tennessee, doesn't matter. If you'd have been able to win Tennessee, there would have been no contention in Florida. I mean, Florida still would have been contested, and whichever way the electoral votes would have gone, still would have been contested, but it would have been irrelevant because he'd have had the electoral votes to win the presidency, had he been able to win his own home state. But again, I'm off topic here. But he certified the election results in favor of his opponent for George W. Bush, despite being the sitting vice president, who, by the way, wanted the presidency, otherwise he wouldn't have been on the ballot seeking the presidency. So, right there is proof that a sitting vice president is capable of being fair. For the record, I did not vote for Gore in that election. I voted for Bush. And a lot of people will tell you that Gore actually won Florida. We may never know for sure. It was extremely close. I mean, 500 votes in a massive state like Florida. Who knows? But let's go back again to 1988. George Herbert Walker Bush, the sitting vice president. Now, granted, he won in pretty much a landslide, riding in on the popularity of Ronald Reagan, who he was vice president under. And Vice President Bush certified the election for President-elect Bush. So, yeah, he's absolutely allowed to do that. And there's going to be dispute over whether or not Kamala Harris will be allowed to certify the election results if she wins. Yes, she can, and she will. And if she loses, she'll do the same thing. At least I would hope she will, because if she doesn't, she'll never have my support again. And, Mike Pence, he certified his ticket's loss. And Dan Quayle, as vice president, certified his ticket's loss. George H.W. Bush certified 2 wins, one which was 1984, when Reagan won in just a massive landslide, taking every state except for Minnesota. Al Gore certified his own loss. Richard Nixon, in 1960, certified his own loss. Same with Hubert Humphrey in 1968. Now, as far as vice presidents being able to certify their own wins, that happens a lot less often. It's not uncommon for vice presidents to become presidents, but for a sitting vice president to become president, barring the death or resignation of the sitting president, which elevates the vice president to the presidency, the incumbent vice president doesn't become president very often. If my memory is correct, George H.W. Bush and I believe Thomas Jefferson were the only two sitting vice presidents to win the next election. So, will Kamala Harris certify her own win? If she wins, yes. Will she certify her own loss? If she loses, yes. So, you know it's going to come up that she needs to recuse herself because, she's one of the candidates. Well, if that's the case, then Mike Pence should have recused himself, and Al Gore should have recused himself twice. And Dan Quayle should have recused himself when Bill Clinton won. George H.W. Bush should have recused himself. No, it doesn't work that way. Our system is what it is. The vice president knows exactly what they're supposed to do. And so far, every vice president has done it. And there's nothing saying that a vice president can't certify their own victory if they win the election. Now, if you don't want the vice president to certify their own victory, maybe we should pass some kind of a law saying that the sitting vice president cannot run for the presidency, which, by the way, I oppose that. Absolutely oppose that. For a long list of reasons. So, is it okay for Kamala Harris to certify her own win? Yep. Just like it is okay. It was okay for Mike Pence to certify his own ticket's loss. Win or lose, Kamala Harris is going to do the right thing. She will either be the next president of the United States or she won't, and she will certify the results as they are. And if she doesn't do the right thing, like I said, she'll never have my support again, and neither will anyone else who supports her if she makes that wrong decision. But if she wins and certifies her own win, fair game. See you next time.